Hi, I'm Mento, and this is Legion Studio. Today I got some exciting news. I would like to thank Juani, our first Patreon supporter. If you'd like to support the game and get a shout out in the next video, check out the description for a link to my Patreon. So, let's get on with the updates. First things first. We've got a name for the game, but before that it's Lurton time. As you went about your daily affairs, your dearest object, a vessel of utmost personal significance, the amulet through which you cast your magic, began to vibrate, faintly at first, yet unmistakable. This vibration, unusual in nature, seemed to carry a purposeful direction. Suddenly, a compulsion seizes you, urging you to follow this path. Leaving behind all that is familiar, you heed its silent call. With every step, the vibration grows stronger, evolving into an audible whisper that beckons you onward. Time loses its grasp as you traverse unknown distances. Abruptly, the cacophony subsides, and standing before you is the Tower of Whispers. An otherworldly place that is strangely familiar. You hear the whispers coming from the tower. Some say that whispers are haunting pledges of help from the souls trapped within its bowels. Others say that it's a way for the tower itself to allure unaware adventurers. Its purpose remains unknown. At this moment, an old man at the entrance bequeaths you a key, offering wishes of good luck on the impending journey. And there you have it. The game is officially named Tower of Whispers. Let me know what you think about the name and the lore in the comments. Toto and I deliberated extensively on the title, weighing in the options between Tower of Whispers and the Whispering Tower. The deciding factor, the abbreviation for Tower of Whispers simply sounded more appealing. Speaking of Toto, this time he composed a safe room theme, aiming to evoke the tranquility and the relief we felt when reaching these types of rooms while playing games as kids. Let us know what you think about the song. Now let's talk about the thumbnail. Allow me to introduce the Accursed Soul Sleeve. Now, to turn this into this, I began by placing the base metal mesh into position and started sculpting the suffering faces onto the stone. After remeshing the model, I imported it into Substance Painter and proceeded to bake the details from the high poly mesh onto the low poly counterpart. Then I imported it into Unity, and it looked like this. The body animation is archived using an asset called Tail Animator. Obviously it looked quite boring, so I created a flowing souls texture to give the impression of a surge of souls passing through their bodies. I then multiplied the same texture in the emission channel and incorporated a frontal effect. Finally, I introduced vertex displacement to the faces using vertex colors to determine which parts of the mesh move. The red areas move at different frequency than the green ones, while the black ones remain static. Oh, and I also added a particle system to leave behind individual souls as they move. Then I proceeded to create the idle and shooting animations along with the projectile. However, I plan to remake the projectile in the future, as I am not entirely satisfied with its current appearance. Finally, I created a state machine with a simple behavior for our little friend here. Currently the state machine uses classes as states, but I plan to rework it to use a scriptable object in the future, to make it easier to create more enemies and reutilize basic states. So, they can move, they can attack, but I needed a way to properly receive damage. Therefore, I implemented a Hitbox Hurtbox system. I attach a Hitbox script to the things that are supposed to deal damage, and a Hurtbox script to the ones that should receive it. When the Hurtbox collider comes into contact with the Hitbox collider, it triggers the function take damage through the damageable interface. The implementation of this function can vary from enemy to enemy, but the Hitbox always passes reference to the damage dealer stats, so that the take damage function can use them as it pleases. I also added a teams value so that you can't hurt yourself or have enemies hurt each other, but I will make a few changes to it in the future. To wrap things up, I quickly update things that I don't know how to relate with the rest. First up, I created the base mesh for the giant. I won't be continuing development for that character for now, since I prefer to finish the Thorn Knight kit first. However, I needed a similar body type for the second enemy in the game that might be coming in the next devlog. This UI is an early work in progress created by Dolores, and gladly she agreed to help me out with this part of the game. Her Twitter/X is in the description. We are exploring the aesthetic of keys and keyholes in a very minimalistic way, to see where it takes us, so we have a long journey ahead of us. I modified the Coliseum so that the player is not occluded by those monoliths. I know I could have used a shader, but it was too much work for a minor thing. I'll be using shader when we start making the models for the dungeon levels. And finally, I made a Discord server. Come join, I will be uploading more work in progress stuff there, and most likely I will be working on the game in a voice chat. I hope you found this devlog interesting, and as always, you can play the latest version of the game on my itch.io page, and now also on GameShot. Don't forget to click that like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to get notified when I upload a new one. And if you are still here, be sure to visit my Patreon account if you'd like to get a shoutout at the start of every video and participate in some polls. Thanks for watching and see ya!